I bet they used that picture for, I don't know, maybe witchcraft, perhaps. Because if it's drawn in blood, then I'm assuming they used that picture for witchcraft. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing great. Welcome to Black Mirror Part 3. So let's get started.
Yes, Master David?
May I ask, the maid, she seems nervous, almost afraid of me.
She's afraid of everything.
You don't think much of her?
I do not, sir. And, if I may be so bold, one of Lady Gordon's earrings has gone missing.
You suspect the maid?
Not my place to say, Master David.
Yet I think you just did say. How many staff are there?
Nowadays, only myself, the maid, and Rory the gardener. I suppose you could include the lawyer, too, if that is work.
Not many for such a big house.
If you felt like hiring more staff, I would not complain, sir. But of course, not everyone is suited to work in this house.
You've worked for the family all your life?
Yes, Master David. Save my time serving in Swaziland.
You served in South Africa?
Oh, indeed, sir. During the Boer War. But Sir Edward intervened and I was able to return unharmed from that most futile conflict.
Well, good day to you.
Indeed, sir.
I wonder-
Smoking a pipe? I thought that would be beneath her station.
I wonder how many strings did the grandfather pull to bring him back?
Lady Margaret.
David?
May I first apologize for my strange behavior last night? It's just that...
Think nothing of it. You are obviously tired from your travels. Least said, soonest mended.
What kind of man was my grandfather?
Oh, he was magnificent. He was handsome, so handsome, and caring.
Caring enough to knock a defenseless child down the stairs.
All was so very different when he was around.
The maid. She seemed to be acting strangely, like she was frightened of me.
Yes, well, she's a simple sort, that one. She has probably heard of the curse of the Gordons the locals like to whisper about.
Curse? What curse?
Just a peasant superstition. I would guess she was worried you'd show the same displays of unpredictable violence as your father did.
I never knew my father to be the violent type.
Oh, there are many things you do not know about your father. This is his doing.
What? But how?
I'd rather not discuss it, David. And that maid should really keep her mouth shut and locate the earring she lost. She's like a magpie with shiny, expensive things.
Is that supposed to be a ring on her finger that's floating up and down? Oh,
I
God.
don't want to give her another reason to think me mad. This may seem like an unusual question.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't, dear boy.
Have I ever been here before? Is it possible I visited as a child and can no longer remember?
Oh no, you are a stranger to these walls.
And I have a feeling you prefer it stayed that way. I shall take my leave, Lady Margaret.
Yes. Oh, and David, the master of the house needs to respect the privacy of those under his roof. Even your father understood that. Sometimes a cabinet is locked for a reason.
A cabinet? I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. I don't know anything about it.
I see. Never mind, then.
Scratch that. It's not a ring. It's her glasses. That's floating. Right now she's pretending to have them on and she doesn't even have them. It's in her lap.
Miss Crannan? I noticed the attic door is locked.
You'd best ask Angus, sir. I hardly go up there.
The mere mention of the attic terrified her. What is in there?
The rituals. He must have done a bunch of rituals there.
Isn't that used for transporting cooked food? Why is there blood in it?
Ugh, the wee scunner thought it would be funny to put one of his dead beasties in it to fear me. He should keep them in the cellar and... Sorry, sir. I'm speaking out of turn.
Did you ever talk to my father?
I was serving here when he... That is to say,
Go on, please.
I didn't think it'd be proper, sir. Lady Margaret said... Oh, sorry, sir. I must get on with my work.
She's as scared of Margaret as she is of the butler. Poor girl.
She was probably threatened not to say anything. Or else she'll lose her job.
You said my father saw things.
I don't want to talk about it, sir.
I think you may have lost this.
Oh, sir! Oh, thank you, sir. I only wanted to see how it looked in the mirror. I didn't mean to. I was scared to tell her ladyship. Oh, she can have such a temper.
What are you going to do now?
If I can sneak it into the salon, maybe her ladyship will think she lost it there herself.
From what I know about her, I very much doubt her ladyship will. What happened to my father here?
I'm sorry, sir. You're not like the rest of them here. Oh, sir, there's things you should know, but I really need this job.
She knows something, but how can I convince her to trust me? Would you like me to escort you to the cellar?
Wouldn't be proper to ask the owner of the house to do that, sir.
Well, I'm not the owner yet, and you didn't ask.
Very kind of you, sir.
Happy to help. I'll let you know when I'm ready to accompany you down there. I shall leave you to your work. A sign of modernity, even in ancient houses like this. This'll make it easier to carry. The boy. It must be. But I need to be sure. Perhaps the names are on the back. My family. Yet they're all still strangers to me. Lady Margaret. She looks happy. I can't imagine her smiling like that these days. Grandfather Edward. Just as he looked last night. The boy. How did he provoke Edward into throwing him down the stairs? What's this? Looks like it's drawn in blood?
I bet they used that picture for, I don't know, maybe witchcraft, perhaps. Because if it's drawn in blood, then I'm assuming they used that picture for witchcraft.
Regardless of what I told Miss Crannan, these visions are like nothing I've ever experienced before, and they're getting worse. A sign of modernity, even in ancient houses like this. This Dr. Farber might be useful. Perhaps she could shed some light on Father's final weeks. I should contact her.
David, apologies for not being here to greet you. As the telephone in the castle is not working due to the recent storm, I have had to journey to the village to communicate with my office. Upon my return, I shall show you to the chapel where you can pay your respects to your father. Yours, Andrew Harrison.
Or maybe I'll just head to the chapel myself, just as soon as the weather clears. Lady Margaret?
Yes, David?
I saw an old photograph of a boy in the other room. Something tells me she wouldn't be happy if she knew I had it in my pocket.
Ah, that was taken in 1894. Young Johnny, your father.
You can remember the exact year?
It's a funny thing when you reach my age. You can remember dates from decades ago.
But not what you had for breakfast.
Maybe others can't.
Who, may I ask, were the others in the picture?
That would be your Aunt Clara and your late great-grandmother, the last true Countess of Scahandew House. And my dear Edward, of course.
I noticed my father had a scar on his face. How did that happen?
falling from a tree, perhaps? I can't recall. But your father was a clumsy child.
Can't recall. But you remember the date the photograph was taken?
I shall take my leave, Lady Margaret.
Yes.
So I wonder if the hallucinations that his father had were due to the injury he suffered as a child. Maybe that can also play effect in the father's story. So we'll see.
Shall we?
Let's see what we can find down here. Harsh as it may seem, a proper serving of fire is the only way to get rid of such a widespread infestation. How cruel of Mr. McKinnon to send her down here alone. Ooh, a lot of blood for just one animal.
Looks fresh.
Master Eddie's work. He and Mr. McKinnon put it here earlier. Poor beastie.
Eddie, another family member I've yet to meet. Not the most hygienic workstation. A hunting map. Looks like they've been poaching outside the Gordon estate. The water of life. Some of these whiskies are from local distilleries. Raw spirit. Not particularly palatable, but good for cleaning and magic tricks.
Step right up.
Sir? What are you... Oh my! Oh, that's amazing! Does that not hurt?
No, a little trick I learned in India.
Oh my god.
Sorry, did that scare you, Elsa? I didn't think... Huh.
Jerk. Who are you?
And you are?
Edward Mallory. You may call me Edward III.
So this is Cousin Eddie. He seems
Welcome to my castle.
Oh, he's a stuck up.
as terrible as the rest of them. My castle indeed.
So he thinks.
Pleased to meet you, Eddie. So, your parents would be my aunt and uncle Clara and Victor. Are they...
Dead. Dead as doornails, the pair of them.
Lovely.
Look how he's looking at him like, oh, I want to destroy you right here.
You've lived here all your life, so you would have met my father.
Only after he lost what marbles he had left. If it were up to me, I'd have locked him up in the loony bin a bit sooner.
Locked him up?
So what are you doing down here anyway?
There's a line between honesty and rudeness that Cousin Eddie doesn't seem to recognize. I was helping Miss Cranon.
Oh, why didn't you ask me?
Excuse me, sir. Sirs, I really have to go.
Leaving so soon? Was it something I said?
Yes. You're rude.
They all tend to act like that in the presence of nobility.
You said something about a loony bin?
I did. Oh. Oh, you don't know.
Well?
Well, never you mind. I have an animal to prepare.
I'm getting very tired of everyone in this house avoiding my questions.
There's something you should know, sir. Something important. I overheard them talking, and
You're paid to work, not chat. Get to it, girl.
Sorry, Mr. McKinnon. Library, after dinner.
At last. I might get some answers.
If they don't kill her first. It's like in every horror movie. The person who always tries to talk and say the truth always ends up dead. So let's see, where should we go?
Finally, some fresh air.
At least finally out of that house.
Master David.
You could tell it was me.
Your footsteps. I ken the walk of everyone here.
Well, that's rather incredible.
Aye, that it is, laddie. That it is. I hear better than most. See more than most and all.
Father had a similar toolbox. Back when he still fixed things around the house. When you talked about what they did to my father, what did you mean?
You shouldn't have come back. You canna go through what he did as a bairn and no be sick.
So his hospitalization was justified then?
Not for me to say. Before you think of putting down roots here, you should think on what the poison grown here did to your father. You can?
No, not really.
If you dinna mind, this door will no mend itself.
I'll leave you to it then.
Okay, how far that... Is that a chapel? I think that's the chapel.
Nobody left to mourn the dead or care for their graves, it seems. Locked with a padlock. Andrew will have a key, but I'm not keen on waiting for his return. You wouldn't have to have a chapel key, would you?
Ain't set a foot in there for years, and I don't intend to either.
That'll be a no then. May I borrow your bolt cutter?
Maybe. If I ken what you need it for.
I told you I want them. That's all you need to know.
Is it no? Let me tell you this, son. Your name may be on some scrap of paper someplace, but this here belongs to Lady Margaret, and always will, until it's her turn to join them in the groom.
May I borrow your bolt cutter?
Maybe. If I ken what you need it for.
I need to get into the chapel.
Then maybe you should get yourself a key, rather than destroying her ladyship's property.
Rory's tools. A hammer, a tenon saw, a bolt cutter. All a bit rusty, but in good order.
The graveyard. Is it a family plot?
Aye. No matter how high and mighty, all the Gordons end up there.
A cheery thought.
It's a shame we do not have the means to properly care for the graves.
Why bother? His bones and food for worms. If you dinna mind, this door will no mend itself.
I'll leave you to it then.
Must be hard to look after the plants when you can barely see them. Probably didn't look much better before the storm. Locked with a padlock. Andrew will have a key, but I'm not keen on waiting for his return. I've seen this before. In the painting. This is the grave I saw in that waking dream or whatever it was. The grave my father buried something in as a boy. Who's buried here? If I could just... these vines are too thick. I need something to cut through these. Rory's tools. A hammer, a tenon saw, a bolt cutter. All a bit rusty, but in good order.
May I borrow your bolt cutter?
Maybe. If I ken what you need it for.
The graves. I would like to tidy them up. That way I can pay my respects properly.
Is that a fact? Why's that then?
They are my family. They deserve to be remembered.
Fair enough, laddie. Just grab it yourself, will ye?
better. Cecilia Shaw, nee Gordon. Aunt Cecilia. Now, let's see if there's something really buried in here. Another piece of the castle model. Another part of the model, and it's stained with what seems to be old blood. Why did Father bury this when he was a child? How could I have known that something was buried here? I don't remember Father ever telling me about this grave. Father must have buried the chapel piece here for a reason when he was a boy. But why? And whose blood is it stained with?
Okay, so we made it inside. So hey guys, let's end it right here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.